is called to order. Mr. Steve Downs will read the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Steve. We'll need a roll call to determine if we've got a quorum.
Alder Ron Frew.
Here.
Alder Karen Tepley. Here. Alder Tom McCarthy. Here. Alder Rachel Schultz. Here. Mayor Todd Copperno.
Here.
Alder Melanie Walters.
Here.
Alder Doug Martinek.
Here.
Alder Steve Downs.
Here.
And Alder Ryan Cairns.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Was the meeting properly noticed?
Yes, the meeting was noticed on Friday, January 30th, which is timely for this meeting.
Thank you very much. Next up is approval of the agenda. Once the council's had a few minutes to read through it, entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion from Alderperson Tepley. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Rachel Schultz. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one's carried. Agenda is approved. Next, we have approval of the minutes. Again, once the council's had a few minutes to review, entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Motion from Mr. Downs. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. McCarthy. Is there a discussion of the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one's carried. Minutes are approved. Next up, department head reports and concerns. Where's the microphone? Let's start in the clerk's office. Anything new over there?
Why, yes, Mayor, we survived January. So we're very proud of that. Thanks to our teamwork, we collected a lot of property tax payments in addition to all the year-end deadlines and payroll changes in W-2s and 1099s and election stuff, and we did it. So thanks, team. Other than that, I'll give the rest of my treasurer's report.
Thank you very much. Now let's get the microphone across the room unless Darcy wants to jump in. She's waving it off. Jody Meaden, what's going on in the city parks?
Okay, well, it's been pretty slow for us right now, so we're working on cleaning and organizing and fixing old things, and we cleaned out our skate room in the Meyer building so we could make room for rec programs and their storage and make it a little easier for them in the summertime so they don't have to carry it back and forth so much. Hopefully they like that extra space. Also in our rec storage, we've been cleaning that out and getting rid of old things. We had a kids night out program that we hosted, and the Lions Club provided snacks for us, and it was our biggest night. We had 40 kids come out, which is about double of what we normally have, so it was a great turnout. And then I have a basketball league that started. We're on our second week, and games are going well so far. We have 5 teams currently. We are having a free twilight hike February 13th at the Oak Hooch Mountain Rec Trails. If anybody's interested in coming out, bring a flashlight. Should be a nice night. And we are planning for our summer guide, all of our programs, and getting ready to start putting ads out for staff. So, and also getting ready to prepare for pool opening.
Thank you very much. What's new at the library?
At the library, our big focus this month, in addition to completing our annual report to DPI by the end of the month, is our community survey. It's also time for us to update our strategic plan for the next 4 years, so we're looking for feedback from the community. You do not need to be a library user. We certainly want to hear from everyone, people that don't come to the library as well, to ensure that we have a good understanding of user experiences and can provide the best service possible at the library. You can find the survey link on our website, which is, our page is on the city website, and we have a Facebook page. We also have paper copies at the library. And you can enter to win a $20 Quick Trip gift card or cheaper check.
Thank you. Mr. Gold.
Good evening. Quick update. Electric, we talked about the AMI meters. We're at 66% complete of the conversion, so 1,919 have been completed as of today. We also are out cutting the primary and secondary lines. So one of the two, you might see us in your backyard switching your meter or cutting the trees to keep outages at a minimum or none. From the WPPI standpoint, our wholesale provider, which we have a contract through 2055, they just signed on re-upped with Point Beach Nuclear through 2050. We get 168 megawatts out of there. WPPI is comprised of 51 communities, mostly in Wisconsin, 1 in Iowa, 7 or 8 in Michigan. And peak load for that is about 1,100 megawatts. So about 10% is nuclear as they diversify their portfolio to make sure when you turn the switch on, there's always power there. I know, Mayor, you've talked about data centers. We've talked about this. I have had contact with them. These developers are looking for available power is the biggest thing in land, which our town has 3 power transformers or subs that are 28 megawatts each. Each one of them can carry the complete town, so we can rotate and switch circuits if we do have issues at one. But we don't have the loads that they're looking at. Some of the data centers that are going in are like 2,000 megawatts just for one site. We're again 22 megawatts, Richland Center. So MG&E, some of these data centers are bigger than MG&E, the hotel, you know, so lots of.
When you said that, you mean the power demand is greater than MGE produces?
That they need, that is
Yeah,
correct, just
yeah,
one
yeah.
data center, that is correct.
It's greater than the city of Madison.
That is correct, for one data center. Had some complaints on the poles out on 14 West by the Legion, the flag park, they're tilted. They've been tilted for 20-some years when they did the bridge project. I met with Alliant today and we're gonna rebuild that. We share the poles there, so the lines you see have Alliant and city utilities on them. So we're gonna relocate them possibly at this spring. On the water side, 647 meters are in. Takes them a lot longer because they gotta get in everybody's house. So 30% of the water side is complete. Wastewater folks have been helping water, so we've had 2 crews out doing that. From the office side, finally the server for the city and the utility is combined, so we're on 1 instead of 2 here at City Hall. And I think it's going better. We had some struggles, I know, at the parks and other places, but we're back going, I think, everywhere. And then continue to just look, one thing, digging through some bills, we have a lot of fax machines at City Hall and the utility at the different locations, and we really don't do that anymore. So looking at freeing up about $40 a month per line for fax machines as far as cost savings. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Billy Jones.
Good evening. So just going to give you a quick monthly report for January. I do not have all of the numbers in quite yet, but I can give you what I have. For the month of January, we answered 187 calls for service. We made 32 criminal arrests, 2 juvenile referrals or citations for other reasons or another. 4 traffic citations as of right now. That is one area that I have not compiled everything yet due to a tracks thing, glitch. Emergency detentions was 1, and warrants and probation parole pickups, we arrested 3 and assisted 3 on those. Revenue from parking violations, miscellaneous charges, $3,783.03. I have not received the court ordered payments total yet from the clerk's office over at the courthouse. So as of right now, our total revenue is that $3,783.03. That's all I have.
Thanks, Billy. I think that's all the department heads we have with us tonight. Ashley, did you have anything?
Sure, just a couple things. Scott and I were able to attend a county facilitated meeting about the ambulance service recently, in which Amplify or Gunderson Ambulance did provide a presentation about their service and what that might look like. There will be continued meetings. As I understand, the county has secured a vendor to perform a study of the ambulance service and make recommendations on how to move forward, and they have a goal of completing that process by April, I believe. And I don't think it had been announced yet, but Finley Hamlin was hired in our Public Works Department. He was a seasonal employee with us this last year, and he was exceptional as a seasonal employee, and he's been on the team now for about a month, and he's doing great work there. And we've been transitioning from our previous insurance provider to our new insurance provider. We've had the ability to test it out. We had one accident this year related to snow plowing, no injuries or anything like that, but we're already getting quite acclimated to the new process of things. And we're doing onboardings, and we'll have trainings and things coming up, and we're looking to get scheduled a training for you all as elected officials post-April election on from an insurance standpoint, risk, et cetera, as an elected official. So more information will be available for you when that comes up. And then lastly, we're looking at how we offer department head meetings and how we can make those more beneficial by incorporating training and things like that. And so we're going to be seeing some adjustments to our monthly department head meetings in the future too. Those are meetings that the mayor during his time with us has attended, and of course any future mayor would be able to do so too, but there's likely to be some time and date changes with that. So that's all I have this evening.
Okay, that puts us on mayor and alderpersons, committee, commission, board, updates, reports, and requests. I'm going to start on my left tonight with Ryan Karen.
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Mr. Steve Downs.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Doug Martin.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Melanie Walters.
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Rachel Schultz.
Well, I have something if I could.
Yes, you do.
Tonight, I have a guest here tonight to watch Government in Action. Joaquin Pinchinati is a student from Buenos Aires. He came from the Southern Hemisphere where summer vacation is going on to experience our Wisconsin cold weather. Anyway, he's been with us for 4 weeks and he goes back on Thursday. And of course, you know my husband Dale Schultz is chauffeuring tonight. So, thank you for coming, Joaquin.
Well, I need to go with you.
What's that?
No, you'll go with me.
You're all set.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
So,
It's so addictive, he wants to stay.
there's high school basketball, so.
He wants to go watch the game.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Well, good night, guys.
Good night. Have fun. All right. You're more about that all you had, Rachel, did you have
That's
one?
all I have.
Mr. Tom McCarthy. Karen Tevlin.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. We had our first Connect Communities meeting about a week ago. So we're off and running with that. And I just want to kind of tie up the Vernon Thompson marker that we did. I located 2 of his grandchildren. They're out in Virginia. So I've got a packet together that I'm going to send out to them. So that'll be wrapped up.
Thanks. Mr. Ron Drew.
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
But I have a couple of things tonight. One's lighthearted, one's very serious. So I'll do the lighthearted one first. Mr. Tom McCarthy, myself and Ron Fruit, none of us are running for re-election, which means our last meeting will be in April. And Tom owns a kilt. Which I have not seen here yet, and that needs to be corrected. We do have March and April, Mr. McCarthy. There may be a resolution if I don't see it in March. You don't have to wear it tonight, it's cold.
Maybe you should just bring the pizza instead.
That's right. That's right. Okay, much more serious, much more serious, and I'm going to give a lot of credit here to some people who earned it during the terribly cold weather we just had. I told this story yesterday on the morning show as well. We don't have right now what we would call a homeless shelter in town. We're working to remedy that. I believe that's coming in the near future. But right now there isn't one, and we saw the forecast, naturally, about a week out before it got that cold. And I took my wife down to the community center on a Sunday afternoon a couple of weeks back, trying to figure out if we could put a shelter together in there. And it's just not conducive. We don't have cots. It's a hardwood floor. Who's going to staff it overnight? So I started calling law enforcement and the pastors in town that I knew were working on this. And several of them spoke to me, Leland Schmidt, Carson Culver, J.B. Mueller, Frank Hoffman, Mick Cosgrove, Mike Brenninger, trying to find a solution. And what happened, once they realized, hey, this really is going to be that cold and the city doesn't have a place ready, is Mr. Mike Brenninger made a building available that he owns in the city. And one of his kids and one of his grandkids, Jossie Brenninger and Emmanuel Brenninger, E-Man, they staffed that 24/7 for 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. And what happened is, I couldn't tell you who they are because I don't know. Lots of local people started to show up there with hot food, blankets, warm clothes, pillows, for people they don't know, just because. And that went for 10 days. More than one of the individuals who stayed there, which I think the number that came down was about 9 or 10 different people. And the two things that will stand out, 2 people that stayed there have now gotten help from those folks and found jobs. And the other one is we saved somebody's life. There was a woman who showed up there about 3 in the morning, nearly frozen to death, because she tried to get through it in a car that had no heat. And when she realized the danger she was in, at about 2 or 3 in the morning, she called the sheriff's department. And they tried to reach Mr. Brenninger, but it was about 3 in the morning, his phone was off. So they knew the address for this shelter, and she drove herself there. And I don't know how else to say it, they thought her out. I mean, you've never seen anybody that cool. And she's not only survived, she survived because those people did that. I didn't do that, I just started the conversation. They did that. What I want everybody to know, or to hear from me, never ever let anyone tell you Richland Center is not a big deal, because we are too. We just do it in a small space. So to the Brenninger family, to the whoever they are, list of strangers who took care of people in need, and to the people with the city police and the county sheriff who helped, thank you. Okay, let's see. Next we have the treasurer's report, which you all have in your packet to review. If there are questions, please ask them. And if they're not, what I'm going to do is just entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented.
So moved.
The motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, and I'll leave it, but if there's no discussion, I guess just all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Treasurer's report is accepted. Utility treasurer's report's just there for review. I'll leave a few minutes for that. And then we move to payment of the bills, and while the council reads through the bills, I will read the following. The bills presented on this day, excluding any library fund invoices, having been referred to the Finance and Budget Committee, and said committee having duly investigated and audited these bills, hereby make the following recommendation: that the city bills presented on this day be paid with the following adjustments and or exceptions. No adjustments or exceptions are listed. It is signed by every member of the Finance Committee. Once you've had a chance to read those, entertain a motion to pay the bill.
Motion to approve the bills.
Motion for Mr. Cairns, is there a second?
Second.
Second for Mr. Downs, discussion of the bills. Hearing none, we need a roll call on that.
Cairns.
Aye.
Fruit.
Aye.
Tubley.
Aye.
McCarthy.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Walters.
Aye.
Martinik.
Aye.
Downs.
Aye.
All right, that one's carried, bills will be paid. Next up, item 5, we have a guest here tonight from Neighborhood Housing Services. Mr. Craig Woodhouse wants to give us a presentation and tell us what they're up to over there. Who's got the mic for Mr. Craig Woodhouse?
Thank you for having me here tonight. Just got a short presentation, just a little update from Neighborhood Housing Services of Southwest Wisconsin. Some of you are very familiar with NHS and some of you maybe not so much, but we're going through a lot at NHS right now, so pretty basic presentation about what we do and who we are and kind of where we're going. So we're Neighbors Helping Neighbors, committed to educating residents in affordable housing services and revitalizing communities. So that is who we are. This is our team. At a little bit of a groundbreaking ceremony, if you will, that we held last September for NHS's new first home build in 11 years. That's significant for us. We've had a period of time where NHS was focused on rehabs and other kind of projects, but we're back into the construction business. And have a lot of plans for more work in the 5 counties that we serve. So this is our team. There's 6 of us. There's only 2 full-time employees. We're about 3.8 FTEs. We're pretty productive for a crew of 3.8, if you will. Thanks. 1983, local citizens organized to form Neighborhood Housing Services, a nonprofit, community-controlled organization, 501c3 with a voluntary board of directors. In 1987, the Park Hotel Senior Apartments renovation was completed. The Park Hotel, built in 1874, was kind of fallen down at that time, and it was local volunteers that got together and said, what can we do with this? So they saved the building, converted it into senior housing. It's been senior housing, independent senior living since 1987. And we've got about a 96% occupancy rate. It's not 100% because we take a little bit of time when we remodel and rework the apartments. In 2014, we became NHS of Southwest Wisconsin with expansion of our services to include Richland, Grant, Iowa, Lafayette, and Greene counties. So we serve all of those counties. We're located here in Richland Center, but we do work throughout all of those 5 counties. Community building is something that you might know of NHS from Star Spangled Celebration, the Big Top Chautauqua, direct assistance to communities post-catastrophic events, floods, tornadoes, things like that. Those have been some of the kind of big projects that folks might know us from in the past. What we do, home rehabilitation has been the strength of NHS for a long time. We work with contractors that perform the work, but these are oftentimes situations where a home may not be safe to live in. It may have repairs that are needed, that are required, just to get insured. We engage in those, and we do a lot of home rehab work. That is what we're the best at. That is the thing that we do well, and we're productive at that. A lot of accessibility, insulation, lead abatement, asbestos abatement, those are the type of projects we do. Home ownership counseling, we have HUD certified counselors. All of our people that we provide down payment assistance to go through a series of home ownership counseling with our HUD certified counselors. Down payment assistance is here with rising costs of home purchases. Sometimes we're in situations where someone, may have the credit score might be there, but maybe the income isn't quite there. The income is there, but the credit score isn't. So we sit down with those folks and figure that out, how we might be able to help them out. Those down payment assistance programs were started from a state fund. That's a fund that we manage, and it's deferred until transfer of ownership. That's the same thing with our home rehab program. So when at some point in the future, when that home is sold, those funds come back into us to be reallocated into the community. So we've got this revolving fund that we work with that works pretty well. Home construction, just got back into that this year. We broke ground in September, finished in December, and are working right now with a potential buyer. We want to get them in there pretty quickly. Foreclosure prevention services, we get a lot of calls for these as well. Someone's fallen behind on their mortgage due to a circumstance. Again, we bring them in, we talk to them, we interview them, they go through our counseling, and then if eligible, we can help them stay in that home. And then we manage the park apartments, as I mentioned. so far, since 1983, we served 1,650 customers counseled in home ownership. Over 1 million in residential loans funded, over 68 million in community investment. That 68 million is the direct investment, the value of those home rehabs, down payment assistance, and that is direct equity to those individuals and into those communities. 520 homeowners created, 54 homes built, and the Park Hotel renovation are some of the highlights of what we've done over those 43 years. NHS of Southwest Wisconsin guides individuals and families through the entire home ownership process. It really starts with budget planning for home buying, down payment and closing cost assistance, to home buyer education and counseling. I think that the biggest impact we have in the community is something that maybe is not noticed, and that is equity building. When we do a rehab on a home, we've installed equity into that home for the homeowner, the building, and the community. And that is what drives our work, is building equity for those individuals. We're neighbors helping neighbors, advocating for safe, affordable home ownership. Home ownership is really what our mission is about. Yes, we manage park apartments, and that's kind of what folks see, but that is the smallest part of our portfolio. All the other work we do outside of the park senior living facility is about home ownership. In 2025, started the year out rough. It was a rough start to the year. I became executive director in June, and we got to work. We got down to basics, and we did a lot of work in the second half of 2025. 933,000 total community equity added in 2025. Almost all of that was in the second half of the year. 15 home rehabilitation projects, 1 home build completed, 17 clients completed our entire housing, HUD counseling program, 4 first-time buyers assisted, and 23 units managed at the park. This is the new home that was just completed on East Kinder Street. It was a vacant lot for a number of years. We took a look at the lot, assessed, tried to figure out what we could really do with it, and it was available. So we purchased that lot in June. Worked with a lot of folks here, from the city to make that possible. And now we have the 3-bedroom, 1,300 square foot egress windows in the basement, 2-car garage. And this is a Skyline modular home. I'm going to talk about dwelling types here in a second, but that was something that allowed us to hit the affordability benchmark that we were looking for. We partnered with Southwest Cap on this project. Southwest Cap has become a dealer for these Skyline homes, so they've got a dealer discount. We can work with them. We get a discount on the modular. The modular is 2 pieces that came in on a semi. We did all of the foundation work. The foundation was complete with those egress windows, and placed the modular and worked with Whispering Pines to finish that project off. And then we stick built the garage on the end. We're really pleased with the home. There's a lot we learned through this process. And again, I think that it's going to be a nice addition to the neighborhood. So we're going to continue, carrying on, the Park Hotel legacy there. We refer to it as an exceptional place to call home. It really is a really unique situation for folks that are there. There's a nice community room. There's interaction with the folks that stay there, and it is certainly a pride of ours, and it should be a pride point in the community. We're strengthening our strategic partnerships. We're looking, and we are very, very active in developing formal partnerships with agencies and people that want to work with us in Southwest Wisconsin. We're making a lot of progress on those, and it will provide dividends. The work that we've been doing with Southwest Cap is extremely beneficial. They've got some resources that we don't. We have some knowledge and some skills and some access to contractors and things that they don't. So we're looking forward to continuing that work. We're going to build more houses, 2026 and beyond. I don't know how many, but we will be building houses in 2026, without a doubt. We're going to leverage our strength. Home rehabilitation is that strength. We're not going to change anything there. We're just adding in a lot of the construction components. And then our goals for this year to increase our capacity, that could be an impact. That's kind of how the tune that we're marching to right now is to continue to work to build equity within these communities. I just wanted to touch base a little bit on some very basic definitions that we work with, and it's just something that's good for the community to kind of be aware of when we talk about dwelling types and what is affordable and things like that. These are HUD definitions. They're the definitions that we work with. Low-income housing is a broad term referring to housing where mortgage plus property tax is affordable to households earning less than 80% of the area median income. Okay, so a low-income housing right there is a definition. There's a definition for low-income housing. I do hear that word used casually and out of context from time to time. But that is the definition, someone below 80% of the AMI for that area. In Richland County, Wisconsin, 80% of that AMI for a 4-person household, the earning is approximately $56,650. That is what it is, the AMI for a 4-person household in Richland County. There is a chart on HUD.gov, you can look it up. It does change from time to time for our county and then the areas around us. There is a definition also to affordable housing. That means that no more than 30% of an income is spent on housing. Okay, so this could be, it's relative to the market and to the income level. It can mean something different in every community. What is affordable is relative. And again, if someone is spending more than 30% of their income on housing, we do not consider that to be affordable housing. Regardless of the dwelling type, the income level, it's all relative. When we see it as a risk if someone is spending more than 30% of their income on housing. That means usually, and oftentimes is the case, that they're foregoing other expenses, they're putting off things, and then at that rate, they're oftentimes not able to reinvest or keep up with required maintenance on their home. Workforce housing has a definition as well. That's another term I hear a lot, and that's for folks that earn too much for subsidized housing. They earn too much for this, but not enough for market rate homes in their communities. It's middle income households. When we talk about workforce housing in this community, what we're really talking about are folks that have an earning level where they are literally priced out of purchasing almost anything. And that's happening more and more and more. And then with the low availability of stock, of housing stock, those prices go up, and then they can be kind of stuck a little bit. So we're working with folks they're in this category, gainfully employed, decent credit scores, but they might need a little bit of help. We're trying to target this with our new home builds, workforce housing. We're not necessarily, that is our main focus. The house that we completed right now, is you can consider that a workforce home, but we work with our potential buyer right now to make sure that they were not exceeding 30% of their income for this house. And we were able to offer down payment assistance and some other programming to get them to that level. Dwelling types. This is something else too that I think is good just to be familiar with here. Manufactured homes is a home on a chassis. That's it. That's as simple as the definition is we can provide for that. Anything that you put wheels on and roll down the road is a manufactured home. A modular home is stick-built in a factory in sections. Our new home on East Kinder Street is a modular. Stick-built in 2 halves in a factory. You get some efficiencies that way by doing it that way, delivered to the site, and then there's post-setting work to finish that off. Stick-built is built on site. Anything that is built from raw materials, you get right on the site. So anyways, that's a really brief rundown of who we are and some of what we do. We're looking forward to, just kind of remaking NHS, if you will, for the future. There's a lot of opportunity for us at NHS, and we're going to keep going strong. So, do you have any questions for me, if allowed, Mr. Mayor?
Questions or comments from Mr. Woodhouse?
Was the response, Craig, to the new house what you hoped it would be from potential buyers?
Good question. We had a short list of clients that we've been working with, some of them for years, and those were the first ones that were, eligible. We got a lot of calls, and we're still getting calls. We're getting inquiries about this house, and then, more questions about whether or not, how homes like this, in the future, if we have plans for them or not. So we're going to continue to look for some infill lots here in town. We would like to use the same program we used on this bill for more of that type of work. We need to reapply, just to set the context here. That particular program that we worked with was one that it's the first time we had done it. So we were working with a technical assistance advisor who's helping us out through that process. And we're working with Department of Administration, WEDO programming. We also, and I didn't mention this, Ron, and I'm kind of going beyond your question there, but people are asking how we can help them find a home. And so we let them know that we're working with these programs, let them know what they may be eligible for, and then ourselves trying to bolster those programs. The work that was done, really in the second half of 2025 is boding well for us. We're pretty productive, quite honestly. We're, in the state, we're thought of highly as an agency that gets a lot of production out of those, few employees that we have. But yeah, we're getting a lot of calls. People asking, questions about it. The house that we built, just so you know there, it's the modular home with a garage. Our cost, this is important, our cost, doing things as affordably as we could, was $300,000. So the days of, $100,000 house newly constructed are gone, they're long gone, and that's a reality that we all need to kind of come to terms with here. But the only way to, bring that down is to increase stock. It's to increase that supply, and that's what that's something that we think is needed in this community. But we talk with a lot of communities in Southwest Wisconsin, and they're telling us, do whatever you can. Come in, build whatever you can. And they're, and so someone at this house, someone is going to get a house for less than that using some of our programs. But yeah, we're getting a lot of calls.
Can I mention something?
Please.
So with this house that NHS completed, and Craig mentioned infill housing is important. It's something that's been discussed by the council, by plan commission in lots of areas. But this is a great example of where it can be tricky with infill housing meeting our current zoning code with setback requirements, etc. And so this was a tight fit. It was, could have almost been impossible to do what they accomplished here, and I don't think that's what anybody would want. And so kind of continuing what was recently discussed in the Plan Commission, one of the simplest ways, no-cost ways for the city to partner with NHS and to be supportive of these sort of efforts is really looking at that zoning code, at the setbacks, minimum lot sizes, minimum dwelling sizes, etc. And looking where can we make some adjustments so that way there's more flexibility, more ability to address infill housing and not create barriers to good things like this.
So Craig, you mentioned that the cost to produce that house or get it there is about $300,000, and you said you were as efficient as you could be to hit that. Thanks for saying that. People building their own house are telling me $500,000 gets it built now. That's the truth. So you were able to do it here. What was the sale price of the house?
That's not known yet,
Okay.
quite honestly, because we're working with an individual and,
Yeah.
working with our programs to, make it affordable, but we don't know. What is the short answer?
Okay, so someone in town wants help rehabilitating their house, has a lot they think somebody could build on, anything like that, what should they do?
Give us a call. My number was up there, a little bit ago, and I didn't bring my card, but you can just give us a call. It's called NHS. We're listed, and ask to speak to anyone. Anyone in the office can help out with that. That is a reality, and that was kind of our price, and we got some discounts and stuff like that as our nonprofit. This is out of reach for a private developer. There's no margin, and there's no margin there, and that's also something that we need to be aware of. Probably would have cost $350 for a private developer, and you're assuming a lot of risk at that point. Yes, this was a tight fit, actually. Thanks for bringing that up too, because we really wanted the garage. We wanted a paved driveway. We wanted to build in as much equity as we could into this. We would have probably preferred to set this a little differently on that spot. We would have probably preferred for the driveway to be on Kinder Street, not on the side street there. That would have been our preference. But it's a nice, affordable home. I won't go through this entire presentation because I don't want to take a lot of your time tonight. But if you don't mind just kind of flipping through some of this. This was, recently we worked with our technical advisor from Colorado, who's still engaged with us, and to work on what we call this CHOTO program. CHOTO is a community housing development organization. We became one of those in 2025, and that allows us access to things like technical advisors that work directly with us and the staff. And so this project is going to be showcased at our National Rural Housing Summit in a few weeks, and he was just happy to share that. I can send that out to the council if you care to take a look through that, because that explains a little bit about how they literally helped us out with staff training, credentialing for the agency, helping us work with the state. We're on the phone every day with the Department of Administration folks and trying to figure this out. There's a lot that they did for us, and you can just kind of see what some of those things are, but that's what it kind of takes. Kind of all in, it takes a commitment, and we look forward to doing more of these. So thanks for your support. I'm available if anybody wants to, talk about housing. It's what we can do, kind of what our perspective is here. But we're excited to get this one down. We learned a lot from this, and we've got all sorts of notes and things on how can we just keep doing this as efficiently as possible. So thanks.
Thanks, Craig. Anything else for Mr. Woodhouse? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item 6, MSA 2025 Street Grading Project Report. MSA is for this online, correct?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
We can now.
Perfect. Alrighty, so I am Zachary Adams. I'm a graduate engineer with MSA. I've worked with MSA and Richland Center for the last 4 years. So as the agenda item suggests, we were doing a street rating project. So just to provide some background information, every 2 years, the DOT requires pavement ratings get submitted to be eligible for general transportation aid. So how this is done is the roads are rated using the Pavement Surface Evaluation and Rating Tool, which is PACER. Basically rates roads on a 1 to 10 scale, with 10 being the best and 1 being the worst. The system that this gets uploaded in is called the Wisconsin System for Local Roads, or WISLR. So this is, like I said, where the ratings and the road parameters are entered into. So the 2-year cycle, the road ratings were due last year. So as Jason is new to his role as the Director of Public Works, he reached out for our assistance with last year's update. And then another reasoning was just to provide one objective eye looking at the whole system, just being able to compare the whole system at once. So the process involved reviewing all around just under 30 miles of streets over a 3-day period. So within that time, I noted segments that needed edits, updates, and also rated some additional segments that Jason would like to add to this WISLR system. So then once I got those road ratings, I coordinated with WISLR, the DOT program, to get those ratings uploaded and for last year's. With those updated ratings, I was able to spit out some reports. So the nice thing about WISLR is that it can spit out reports that basically give you costs and be used as a planning tool. So it provides cost of maintenance and capital projects for the street segments that need work done. So these costs are based off of DOT pricing from 2023, so it is a bit outdated there. And then we also just want to recognize that the costs that you will see in these reports are probably around half compared to local pricing, but it is still, as it is now, able to be used as a planning tool. That's kind of a big kind of home run we want to have for this presentation. I also want to note the costs are also based solely on pavement only, so they do not include curb and gutter, sidewalk, storm sewer, any other costs like that. So let me pull up and share my screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see some of the parts of the report I just want to touch on. All right, hopefully you're able to see my screen now. All right, so one of these graphics shown here is the condition frequency. So like I said, all streets are rated on a 1 to 10 scale. So you can see here, out of the 29.68 miles of paved roadway, here's the breakdown of your ratings. Like I said, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. And you can see here, 45.28% are in the 7 to 8 category. So these are roads that just need treatment. You will notice this is a high number. We did look at last year, the city invested money to do around 2.25 miles of maintenance works like seal coating. So that accounts for 7.1% of the roadway. So if you take that number out and kind of distribute it, it kind of lowers that inflated number there. But that's where a seal coat or a maintenance treatment will automatically bump a road up to at least a 7. So no matter what the condition of the roadway is below it, whether it may be a 1 before, you seal coat it automatically bumps it to a 7 or 8. And then there's also a second graph on here. I just want to note this is for unpaved roadways. You can see there's only 0.17 miles. So you need to really concern with this. This is for streets like Amelia Street, for example. It's just a gravel road right now. But the majority of the roads are paved or streets that we looked at. And then this map basically shows this breakdown percentage applied to the whole system. So you can see it's color coded. See down here the legend for the color coding. You can apply that to see anywhere that's a red, you'll be looking at roads that are rated your worst, up to greens, which are your best. Or newer roads, I should be saying. One of the other reports that we presented the report is the rudimentary needs analysis. This basically takes all your roads or all your street segments, and it provides, okay, what street segments are in need of maintenance and capital treatments. So you can see here, while there are, said like 29 miles of road, 5.61 miles are capital projects and 12.88 miles are maintenance projects. But you can see here the costs associated, like I said, these costs are probably half what you really see, but it just shows us the scale of the costs. So capital projects are going to be much more expensive than your typical maintenance projects, even though the maintenance makes up most of the mileage, the cost is far less than it would be for a capital project. And then here's another map that basically shows your street system and basically provides a yellow or green color relating to your maintenance versus capital. So you see maintenance is in yellow, capital is in green. And then another tool the Whistler system provides is a 5-year budget plan. It's basically you give it a value for the next 5 years that you're budgeting, and it will provide you a plan for what road segments to hit in each of those years and costs associated. So talking with Jason, the city allocated $150,000 for street improvements for this fiscal year. So basically what it did is it took that 150 and kind of broke down, here's a breakdown of year 1, all the street segments, the costs associated, and the scores afterwards. So you can see it may not use the full 150 each year, but it wants you to carry that value over. So you can see here, year 3, it wants 175. And then the nice thing is it shows you, here's your current condition of roadway, of street segments and their breakdown ratings, and then what it's going to look like after 5 years. So the nice thing about this report is it shows you if there's going to be any backlog after 5 years. So it's saying after 5 years you're going to have $400,000 of backlog, or basically show you those street segments that are, here's what your budget could not afford. To add as a comparison, actually, let's see, make sure I touch on everything. I also want to state this year 1, it's basically going to, nice thing on tools, it will prioritize the roads for you. So it will save pavement that can be maintained and not invest maintenance dollars into roads that you may not need. So maybe you seal coat a road that it really should have been seal coated. So this tool helps you identify those segments where you should be spending your money on maintenance versus capital. And while this tool is used after the fact, but before you start budgeting, at least you have a list for year 1 of, you can basically go through and identify what you want to spend your $150,000 on this year. So at the current budget, it's saying that there's going to be a backlog. So like I said, as a comparison, what we want to do is run that report to see how we can get out with 0 backlog. So for year 1, I plugged in what was budgeted for this fiscal year, and then I plugged in values to basically get it to be 0 backlog. So the nice thing about this is you can see your current breakdown. After 5 years, your minimum score is a 6. So while you may have to spend the upfront cost to get all your roads to that point, after that 5 years, you can lower your budget because all you'll be doing is maintenance projects instead of capital projects. So between these 2 reports, you can kind of get a range value of what you should be budgeting each year. And so our recommendations moving forward is to continue using this tool. The pavement ratings can be updated at any time. You can update pavement types, widths, basically everything to fine tune these estimates. You don't have to just wait for the 2-year cycle. I provided a list of updates that need to be made to the road segments and the street segments themselves. So just updating those to show recent improvements since the last time it was updated. The big one is updating the cost to reflect local pricing with the potential to include costs for additional items such as curb and gutter, sidewalk, and locally adopted policies for pavement-based thicknesses. So it can be tweaked to kind of fit the parameters that the city is reviewing. Where storm sewer is involved though, we'll probably want to look at those projects on an individual basis. The other aspect is to share the maps of the city utilities to compare for capital improvement planning. So on this rudimentary needs map where you have the green and yellow, all of the green streets should be coordinated with utilities to see if they have any need to do any capital improvement planning in those areas as well to hopefully lower the city's costs in those segments. MSA can certainly offer services to assist with these updates. And with these updates to the segments and the costs, this tool can certainly be utilized for next year's budget planning. Any questions?
Questions or comments?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Melanie.
So on the condition frequency report map, there are a small segment of streets that are listed in pink, and it says they're ineligible roads. Why are they ineligible for this?
Yeah, so some of them are noted as not city streets. Like they may be city property, but they're not actual city streets. So I know there are some segments, like I believe the segment of Orange Street from 6th to 7th is truly a city street, but is shown as not eligible. So those were one of the sections where Jason was looking at adding that to the visitor system.
Okay, because that was one of the sections I was looking at. I'm like, well, I believe those are city streets. Why is it saying they're ineligible?
Yep, yeah, so Jason was already coordinating with the visitor staff to get some of those roads added, but at the time of the review, they weren't something that was in the visitor system, but we still did provide ratings for those segments, just so when Jason is able to add them, he can provide a rating right away.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Further questions or comments? All right, thank you, sir.
Of course. Thank you very much.
You bet. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, next up, looks like item 7, report on the proposed campus housing project. Do you want to do that, Ashley, or do you want me to do that?
I can.
All right.
We don't have any attachment there for you, but as you recall from the last council meeting, Director Glassbrenner was authorized to approach the county to present a proposal to acquire approximately 10 acres of land on that upper end of the campus property where it's unimproved, above the tree line, for the purpose of a housing subdivision. Jason did attend the County Executive and Finance Committee meeting. They discussed the proposal in closed session. We were not privy to that conversation. And then they came out from closed and they did not take action. So as it stands right now, the proposal was not accepted. The feedback that we've received is that the county wishes to complete their process with their firm that they've hired, SEH, it's an architectural firm, to go through the process. They're already in the middle of, more or less. And then when they open up RFP submissions, they would be willing to receive any proposal from the city like they would anyone else. But until they get to that point, there's a lack of appetite to review projects on an individual basis. Rather, they'd like to see things all presented at one time, review everything together, and make decisions then.
That is, I believe that's going to be summer.
As best as I understand, at least 4 months from now.
Okay. I don't have anything further on that, do you?
No.
Okay, questions or comments? Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have Lydia's house lease and operating agreement.
So we've talked about this at previous meetings with ownership transfer to the city, etc. Lydia's house, that property is now covered under our insurance. The board had, in their meetings, discussed what do we do as far as operating that facility given the transition of ownership and where we're at. And so they elected to not operate the facility until things were squared away with an agreement, insurance of course, and all of those things. So at this point, they're eager to resume operations, and to be clear, we didn't insist that they stop or anything of that nature, but out of an abundance of caution and wanting to make sure everything was being done properly, they elected to take that path. So now they've reached out and said, we'd like to get an agreement where there's a mutual understanding of responsibilities, roles, et cetera, like in a standard lease. And so they've asked that one is drafted, and we work together on that. At this time, I don't have a draft agreement for you to review. And it's on the agenda tonight to avoid any additional delays in the future. And so the goal is to seek authorization to execute an agreement with Lydia's House to allow them to operate as they had been previously, providing shelter for children, single mothers, et cetera, in that facility. And the main terms would be that we wouldn't be charging rent to them or assessing a fee for them to operate in the capacity that they have for many years. But otherwise, it'd be a standard agreement that Michael would work on. So if you were comfortable authorizing that, that would be the request, or anything other that you would see fit.
What I said earlier about needing to put a last minute shelter together for the cold, this is the point. That's where they would have gone. And there are 5 heated apartments that went unused because no one had access to it because of this. So we're trying to find a workaround so that an empty house that should be used in a case like that can be used. That's why it's here tonight. Any questions on it?
So you're looking for a motion to allow administrator or Michael Wendell, attorney, to
execute an agreement with Lydia's House.
Okay, that'd be my motion.
Motion from Ms. Tepley, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Melanie, is there discussion to use?
Well, I was just gonna say, I have knowledge of that unit. I don't know that it's always, every apartment is open, so I don't know how much we would get use out of it as far as a winter place, you know.
That's what we're trying to resolve.
Yeah.
That's what all of this is.
Right.
Because otherwise, it's gotta be better than it just was.
Right, but to figure we got 5 apartments, I don't know that.
That's coming to me from the pastors, the ministers that have been involved recently, and that's what they said to me. So I haven't been in there in a long time. So I don't know if they did something differently or not, I don't know. But yeah, no, I mean, regardless of that, that's a great point, but however many people can fit in there, we couldn't get anybody in there the other night because of this. So that's all we're trying to address tonight. And we can, but I mean, your points are valid, and if you know any of those people at the Ministerial Association, keep talking to them too. Really?
I'm just, my daughter works and controls that as far as getting people over there, and so like I say, there's times when every apartment's open, there's other times when there's nobody in there. So it's kind of a hit or miss.
That's what we're trying to.
There's 5 apartments, so there is plenty of room.
And all of that is what we're trying to resolve. Because you're right, and it is inefficient and it can't be.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, further questions or comments?
I have a question about the resolution. So what we would be voting on tonight would be to start to draft the agreement? Or would it just get drafted and signed all at one time?
That's the request, is that you would vote to allow us to actually execute an agreement.
Okay.
But if you're not comfortable with that, right, it could be drafted and bring it back at the next council meeting. However, as the mayor has indicated, we think that the matters of significance, that it's not worth any delay.
So Karen, is that your motion, that you're authorizing the draft and execution of the agreement?
Yes.
And is that your second?
Yes.
Excellent. Further questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one is carried. 9, facility use agreement with the Richland School District.
Sweet Jody.
You meeting?
Yes, every 2 years.
Do you have the microphone?
Yeah, okay.
I know you love that, that's why.
I do, thank you.
You will be singing for us, I believe.
Karaoke.
Get ready, it's gonna be good. Okay, so every 2 years, we update our joint use contract with Richland School District. And this was the year to do that. Basically, due to the sale of Story Field, that was number 2 on the list of omitting. Number 1 was changing the dates, July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2028. And then under the Richland School District facility listing, it was to add Richland School District owned property, at the former UW Platteville Richland campus. And then number 15, updating dates to reflect 2026 and 2028. And then we omitted the number 17, was verbiage about Storyfield. So we have had a good relationship with school district in the past. We didn't see any need to make any other changes besides those. So I'm just looking for a motion to approve the updated facility agreement for 2026 through 2028.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve from Ms. Walters. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Ms. Templey. Is there discussion? How often does this have to be done? I know you said it.
Every 2 years.
Every two. I remember doing it before. And this one was pretty tame. A couple of times there's been a lot. You remember that?
Yeah, I think
Red
before my
lining.
time, that was big changes.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Questions or comments?
But the reason for this, or the purpose of this agreement is just to share facilities, allow for that. And ensure we've got proper insurance coverages and that, all of that established.
Yeah, that was the big one a few years ago, is when we got into the agreement, there was some stuff that hadn't been worded correctly for the insurance. And when we got in there, that's what we realized, and you weren't in your role yet. But that took a lot of back and forth to sort out the correct way to do it. And this is to make sure we never get there again, stay on top of it and have it. And it just makes sense in a community our size. You know, you got this facility over there, that one belongs to the school. Well, it doesn't make sense to tell kids they can't be there, for instance, so make sure you have them in a row, and that they can, and there's no exposure to liability, and so on and so on. So, further questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one is carried. Thanks, Julie. Okay, Plan Commission recommendations for action. I've got, can you get the microphone to Mr. John Collins? And Keith and he are gonna do a duet tonight, actually. So what we're doing tonight, Keith Bailing and John Collins are with us tonight from the Redevelopment Authority. John is the newly appointed elected president or chair, or both, of that entity. And what's going on is we were contacted, I got a phone call from a family that recently moved out here, about a year ago. And young couple with 4 little kids, and her dad owns multiple businesses in Dane County, one of which is now doing business in 3 cities around the state. And he let me know that he wanted to expand one of his businesses to our city, and asked me if the city had any land available, because he was having trouble finding a lot, and he wanted Highway 14 frontage. Well, I took them to, I had to meet me on Orange Street, if you remember from a few years back, where the yellow storage shed used to be, that had parks equipment, downtown Christmas lights and so on. It's right across the street from the credit union and Wacker Chiropractic. And they loved it. It's exactly what they were looking for. And they said, Mayor, we want to build a 5,000 square foot showroom for our business. For perspective, the concrete slab that is still there from the old shed, I believe Mr. Gall told me, is that 3,200? I believe you, square feet, I think it was. I think it was, when we were down there, because when we were meeting together. So their building will easily fit. Obviously, it's in an established neighborhood, so yes, they will be paying for the utility work that needs to be done, but it's coming from right there. So it's a win, they thought. We met, we had the Redevelopment Authority meet them, and work through this. And I want to stop for a minute and let John take it from there on what happened on talking to them about whatever you want the folks to know. If you want to get into land price or how these folks are doing, anything you want the council to know.
So, the negotiation with the dad representing the children, went very well, and he's excited to see his daughter and possibly other children move to our area and do more business, which makes us at the RDA more excited about just this deal, that future businesses from just this one starting, and then maybe more coming. But the negotiation went real well. We settled on a price, and we're currently going through the developers agreement. And hopefully in 2 weeks, we'll have a developers agreement that is satisfactory to the RDA and to the buyer. And they will start construction, hopefully when the ground thaws out. Mayor said it's a 5,000 square foot building, and this business is not a business that's currently in our county. It involves low-speed vehicles, and they're all electric. And it's a very good business from what we saw in research in the area, and the numbers that people are buying these vehicles in communities like ours are increasing by hundreds of % a year. And so it'll be a good growth business for our community with a brand new family that's been here, I believe they're like 18 months.
January of last year, so just over a year.
Just over a year, and excited and telling their friends about our community and what a great place it is to raise children. So as chair of the RDA, I'm very excited about this business opportunity. And this is the last piece of property that's owned by the RDA on the Orange Street Commons, which runs from Seminary to 6th Street. And so we are in talks about what the future looks like for the RDA in the Orange Street Commons area, and the future beyond that for maybe expanding further into the city. So we're excited.
So a couple of points, because it's been a little while since the RDA had a transaction going on, to make sure, because I don't think we've got older persons up here that we're not serving the last time one was. The RDA is not like, for example, Public Safety Committee, Finance Committee. Is the redevelopment authority, and that last word is not a coincidence. And so therefore, in this case, the RDA owns the land, not the city. The RDA. The RDA has its own bank account. The RDA, for instance, to get this done, contracted an attorney to do this work, and that attorney is being paid out of that bank account. Okay, it's a separate thing. It does have 2 older persons serving on it, and the rest of the people, they're all appointed by the mayor, confirmed by the council. But it's very unique. If you're used to serving on a committee, forget it, it's different. For instance, they have the power of eminent domain. There's a lot going on. That's not what this is, but they have that. I'm explaining that right now so the council fully understands what they're being asked to do tonight, is to approve this, but this was done by the RDA, and the sale price of the land was negotiated by the RDA, which is their right to do, and so on. This is almost a formality. It's got to happen, but the meat of the work is theirs to do. So therefore, yes, there will be a developers agreement. Do we have an idea when it'll be ready? Do you know yet?
The attorney was hoping in 2 weeks.
Okay, 2 more weeks, that'll get done. Now, I just want people to know, because it's a fair question to ask, and it'll come up, it does every time. We are not approving the design of their building tonight. They're aware, the RDA did a great job, and then the Planning Commission did too, of reminding them there will be expectations. You don't just throw up another metal shed and say, there we go. So they've been great. You agree? Keith, John?
Yes, very good. Just one formality. The RDA operates under a separate set of state statutes that gives the RDA certain authorities. And again, this is a formality, but all RDAs, when they operate and sell, will come before the governing body to to present, and if there's any questions, work through those.
And then when well, that'll happen again when there's a developer's agreement, and then again, just to make sure people, everybody, including the public, understands, the folks doing this, the people buying the land, have been wonderful to work with, extremely cooperative. They've done this before. They just built a big one in Cottage Grove, much larger than this. They are doing business in Lake Delton and Lake Geneva and Cottage Grove, and now they want to expand here. And the thing is, John, Keith, all of them did a great job explaining, take a look at the newer buildings on Orange Street, get an idea what the look and the feel is, the colors and all of that. They were great. I didn't hear any objection to anything we said. Did you?
No.
Okay, so I don't expect any trouble that way. Tonight is just, we needed John, Keith, whoever wanted to come down, to take any questions from up here and provide any extra information. And then the council tonight, I have a proposed motion actually from Attorney Wendell that covers the necessary basis tonight. Let me back at it. And it says motion to accept the Plan Commission report and approve the sale of RDA-owned property located at 300 West Union Street as presented. So I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Templey, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Downs. Okay, discussion, questions, comments? John or Keith, anything else you want to add?
Hallelujah.
So I'll second that because we got on a roll in 2020, my first year down here, a lot of our first year down here. We got the dialysis center done, the TechCom building done, 5 new homes in Wedgwood. We're knocking up all this new construction that hadn't been happening. And 2 of them down on Orange Street, filled lots that had been vacant 25 years. And I said, well, let's just keep going, and we're in our own way, so we tore down the yellow shed to clear the lot, and the city built a new storage building. We sold off a lot of unnecessary equipment that had been in there, and all of this stuff, and we're really excited, and we thought we had a buyer within the next year, and then that deal didn't happen, and then when COVID prices went crazy, this lot sat. And it made us crazy, because it's a great location and all that, and we were sitting there. So to echo what Keith said, this is really exciting, and it fit what these people were looking for perfectly. They wanted Orange Street, they wanted that area. It's got the space they need, and it's flat as a board, ready to build. We don't get a lot of these. Okay, any questions or comments? All right, let's have a roll call, please.
Tepley?
Aye.
McCarthy?
Aye.
Schultz? Aye. Walters?
Aye.
Martinek?
Aye.
Downs?
Aye.
Cairns?
Aye.
Fruit?
Aye.
That one is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you both, and everyone serving, and to the family, and John, I guess, why don't you call them and let them know, they've got sick kids tonight, that's why they're not here. So, they were coming down to meet everybody. Okay,
No, don't say that.
what was that?
He said measles. I said, don't say that.
No, nothing that exotic. Thank you. All right, next up, number 11 is the Hive Drive Infrastructure Project. And this has been talked about for a long time. Again, this similarly, this became a city street in, I think, December of 21. I think that's right. And the school district at the time, their interest in this was to be able to improve it, to maintain it. Through the years, they thought maybe the city would be eligible for grants the school district can't get. Well, as time passed and different administration came into the schools and so on, conversations kind of progressed to, what should be done up there. We've got kids walking to school up there, it's not lit well. It wasn't, remembering when it was put in there, it wasn't designed to be a city street. It became a city street a few years ago. So we have information on this, and this was some of our grant money, I believe, is designated for this. The infrastructure grant money that we have, that all of you have reviewed before, it's been through finance, it's been through the council, and then this stuff came through planning as well. And you've already designated money that would be needed to do this. Jason actually took the lead on this from anything I got from him. He's not here tonight. Is there anything else that any of you would like to add to what I just said?
So yes, it's a report from Plan Commission as we're required to do when we're improving beyond what already exists to any city street. So there's sidewalk, curb and gutter, stormwater involved in the project, so that necessitated planning's review of it and the report that you have in your packets. And additionally, as the county works on redeveloping the former UW campus, that factors into what we're looking at doing, because we know there's going to need to be access off of Hyde Drive to the campus. And in particular with the school going to be assuming ownership of some of the buildings over there, we want to have safe pedestrian and vehicular access. And so the request tonight is to receive that report from the Plan Commission and then authorize staff to continue with the final design process and next steps, factoring in sidewalk, stormwater, curb, gutter, and access off of Hyde Drive, those elements.
I have a proposed motion, again from Attorney Wendell, that says motion to accept the Plan Commission report for the Hyde Drive infrastructure project and authorize city staff to proceed with final design and next steps. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay, is that your motion?
Yeah.
As read? Motion from Ms. Walters, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Schultz, further discussion? Let's do a roll call, please.
Walters.
Aye.
Martinek.
Aye.
Downs.
Aye.
Cairns.
Aye.
Groot.
Aye.
Tepley.
Aye.
McCarthy. Schultz. Aye.
Okay, that one's carried. Next on Finance Committee recommendations for action, Mr. Ryan Cairns.
Number 12, award landfill monitoring services agreement. Darcy?
You guys are gonna get tired of my voice tonight. I've got the next like 6. Okay, so annually, per requirements from the DNR, we are required to have our city landfills monitored to make sure they're in accordance with state and federal codes. This is a recurring budgeted service that utilizes our perpetual relationship with MyTech Services, who has performed this service since 2016. They're our primary technical resource for landfill monitoring throughout the year. So we are considering this service an ongoing and continuous professional service that does not require an RFP on a yearly basis. And their proposed cost this year represents a $665 increase over last year, which was still lower than the second lowest bidder from the RFP process we conducted last year. So it would be a cost of $10,605. And we are seeking a motion to approve the execution of a landfill monitoring agreement with MyTech Services, Inc. at a cost not to exceed $11,000.
That'll be my motion.
Motion from Mr. Cairns, is there a second? Mr. Downs got that one, is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that one is carried. Next, actually, we probably, that one spent some money, we better roll call that.
I wondered.
Yeah, we better roll call that.
Cairns.
Aye.
Fruit.
Aye.
Tepley. Aye. McCarthy. Schultz. Aye. Walters.
Aye.
Martinek.
Aye.
Downs.
Aye. Thank you. Number 13, consider acceptance of a non-monetary donation and naming proposal application.
Okay, so this one is kind of a paired agenda item. So the background would be that the city assumed ownership of a pedestrian trail along the Highway 14, Highway 80 corridor as part of the Safe Routes to School initiative in 2020. It extends the intersection to the Richland Center Intermediate School and is currently compacted gravel. Local resident Sheila Troxel, on behalf of contributing donors, came and proposed a non-monetary donation to complete the blacktop paving and add associated trail signage. The project is estimated at about $30,000, and the funding will be provided 2/3 by the Joan Woodman Orton McCollum Foundation and about 1/3 from Southwest Partners. These improvements would be completed at no cost to the city in accordance with our standards and oversight.
Paired with this request, they also submitted a formal request to name the trail segment the Vale Bender Community Wellness Trail in recognition of Mr. Bender's longstanding service to the community and his work on this project. So the motion we are seeking is to adopt resolution 2026-01, authorizing the acceptance of a non-monetary donation for trail improvements and the naming of the Dale Bender Community Wellness Trail.
Okay, hold on. So tonight we have a stack. Typically I read these before we have a vote, so the public knows what they say. There are several, so to save some time tonight, because some of them are kind of lengthy, I'll remind the public that there are links to every one of these on the city website. If you just get into the agenda and minutes, agenda and packet for tonight's city council meeting, you can find every one of these. So the motions need to be to suspend the rules, waive the reading, and adopt, in this case, resolution 2026-01.
That will be my motion.
Motion from Mr. Cairns, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Walters. Is there discussion? I'm going to offer some. What Dale did was amazing. It took years. 38 government agencies had to touch this thing. Can you believe that? There's not too much government or anything. 38, and it took like 10 years for a simple trail so kids don't have to walk on the shoulder of a highway. And he persisted. And then I'll give some credit to someone who's not named in it, that Melinda Jones actually did the grant writing on it, that Dale would give her credit for in a minute. But Dale is, I think it's fair to say Dale's the reason it got done. I think it is. And that's why Sheila Troxel and Mick Cosgrove have been coming to meetings to make sure that we all knew that. And so I want the public to hear it. So we have the motion and the second. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, I want a roll call, please.
Walters.
Aye.
Schultz. Aye. McCarthy.
Aye.
Tepley.
Aye.
Fruit.
Aye.
Cairns.
Aye.
Downs.
Aye.
Martinek.
Aye.
Thank you. Number 14, an ordinance amending chapter 321 relating to control of weeds, grasses, and brush.
Okay, so these next four items are pretty closely related, so I'll just go over the high points for you. Chapter 321 governs the control of weeds, grasses, and brush on private property. Our current ordinance contains some outdated procedures, excessive detail, and the reliance on a weed commissioner, which limits our ability to enforce nuisance vegetation issues efficiently. We've revised the ordinance for clarity, consistency, and enforceability while aligning with Wisconsin statutes and some neighboring municipality best practices. So the proposed revision repeals and recreates Chapter 321 in a more simplified format, establishes a clear 6-inch height standard, preserves allowances for natural landscaping, removes reliance on a weed commissioner role, and removes the mandatory courtesy notices while retaining them as an option. So this will streamline enforcement in our billing procedures, allowing us to abate and recover through special charges on the tax roll. We came to our cost basis by evaluating our actual labor and equipment costs incurred when performing these abatements to ensure that these are reasonable costs, with a minimum charge of half an hour to account for mobilization. And then we have consulted with Attorney Wendell on this, and he has reviewed both the ordinances and the resolutions. So our motion would be to adopt ordinance 2026-01, amending chapter 321 relating to control of weeds, grasses, and brush as presented.
Okay, entertain a motion to suspend the rules, waive the reading, and adopt ordinance number 2026-01.
That will be my motion.
The motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
I think Rachel won that one. Okay, is there discussion? Hearing none, I'd like a roll call, please.
Schultz. Aye. Walters.
Aye.
Martinek.
Aye.
Downs.
Aye.
Cairns.
Aye.
Fruit.
Aye.
Tepley.
Aye.
McCarthy.
Aye.
Thank you. Number 15, a resolution establishing the forfeiture schedule and administrative fee for abatement of weeds, grasses, and brush.
Okay, so this is paired with the ordinance. This establishes a calendar year graduate forfeiture schedule and a $75 administrative fee to recover inspection, coordination, billing, and enforcement costs. Forfeitures are proposed on a graduated basis annually, so the first offense would be $25, the second offense $50, and the third and subsequent $75. This is, we hope, going to be put in place to deter repeat violations. And then the administrative fee of $75 reflects those administrative tasks that occur regardless of abatement time, and include inspection, documentation, and enforcement. One question that did come up at finance was who is allowed to enforce these, and we did reference the updated ordinance from September that allows police chief, police officers, zoning administrator, director of public works, city attorney, or city administrator or their designee to perform these citations. So our request would be motion to.
Yeah, the motion is to suspend the rules, waive the reading, and adopt resolution 2026-02, a resolution adopting a forfeiture schedule and administrative fee for abatement of weeds, grasses, and brush.
That will be my motion.
Motion from Mr. Downs, is there a second?
Mr. Cairns.
Sorry, Mr. Cairns, my fault. Mr. Guy? Yeah, my fault. That guy, the guy in the end. Mr. Cairns, is there a second? Second by Mr. Cairns. Second by Mr. Downs. All right, we have the motion and the second. Is there further discussion? Okay, we'll need a roll call.
Cairns.
Aye.
Downs.
Aye.
Martinek.
Aye.
Walters.
Aye.
Schultz. Aye. McCarthy.
Aye.
Dudley. Aye. Root.
Aye.
Thank you. Number 16, an ordinance amending chapter 606 relating to removal of snow and ice from public sidewalks.
Okay, very similarly, we revised the ordinance for chapter 606, which governs snow and ice removal from public sidewalks. We essentially repealed and recreated chapter 606 in a simplified format. We did keep the requirement for sidewalks to be clear within 12 hours of snowfall ending, clarified the responsibility, including corner lots and curb ramps, also removed mandatory courtesy notices while retaining them as an option, and streamlined the enforcement and billing procedures, allowing abatement and recovery through the tax roll. We did the same kind of process to evaluate the labor and equipment costs, and our requested motion would be a motion to
Suspend the rules, waive the reading, and adopt ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance amending chapter 606 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Richland Center relating to removal of snow and ice from public sidewalks.
That will be my motion.
Motion from Mr. Cairns. Is there a second?
Second.
I think Steve, I don't think I was one. Steve wins? Okay, is there just further discussion? Okay, we'll have one more roll call, I guess.
Root.
Aye.
Dudley.
Aye.
McCarthy.
Aye.
Schultz. Aye. Walters.
Aye.
Martinek.
Aye.
Downs.
Aye.
Cairns.
Aye. Thank you. Number 17, a resolution establishing the forfeiture schedule and administrative fee for sidewalk, snow, and ice removal violations.
promise this is the last one. So this one is the same, or very similar to the resolution for chapter 321. Also doing a graduated calendar year forfeiture schedule of the $25, $50, and $75 for additional offenses, and putting in place that administrative fee to make sure we're recovering the costs that are put into it. So our motion would be to suspend the rules, waive the reading, and adopt resolution 2026-03 establishing the forfeiture schedule and administrative fee for sidewalk, snow, and ice removal violations as presented.
That will be my motion.
And the motion for Mr. Cairns, is there a second? Second for Mr. Downs. Is there discussion? Okay, let's do a roll call on that one.
Walters.
Aye.
Martinek.
Aye.
Downs.
Aye.
Cairns.
Aye.
Root.
Aye.
Dudley.
Aye.
McCarthy.
Aye.
Schultz. Aye.
Right. And that one is carried. Next, we have Public Safety Committee recommendations, Mr. Ron Fruit.
Mr. Mayor, we have one application that was reviewed by the Public Safety Committee tonight prior to this meeting. It is an application for a temporary Class B retailer's license, a picnic license from the Richland County Performing Arts Council, which is of course applied many times before. The organization is going to host the Longhorn Comedy Show on Valentine's Day, February 14th at the Richland Center City Auditorium Municipal Building. The Safety Committee first asked Chief Jones, he has reviewed it, the Safety Committee has passed it, and I would motion tonight to approve the application for the temporary Class B retailer's license for the Richland County Performing Arts Council for February 14th for their Valentine's Day program.
Okay, we have motion from Mr. Fruit. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Karen got that. Okay. Is there a discussion? That one's easy. Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Next, appointment and confirmation of committees, commissions, and boards. I don't have any tonight, but I'm going to take 30 seconds on this. We do have an election coming up in April, and we do have some candidates sitting here. And so I want Mr. Perry to use his camera magic here, just really quick. I've had a lot of people asking me who some of these candidates are. We've got both mayoral candidates in the room. And we can get a shot of Karen Tepley, who's high behind the plate that says Karen Tepley. But that's Karen, who is running for mayor, and the other candidate is Mr. Elijah Kramer, who is right behind Mr. Perry. If you could say There we go. There are your two mayoral candidates. People have been asking me which two people and how do I meet them. And I'm saying this so both candidates know everywhere I'm going right now, somebody wants to know how to find you or talk to you. And I just wanted to know who that is. If you live in District 2, represented currently by Tom McCarthy and Rachel Schultz, Mr. McCarthy's not running again. Mr. Frank Hoffman is. Again, Mr. Perry, Mr. Hoffman is right behind you. They just showed him to the public. Right there. Right there. Candidate in District 2. I again did that because people are asking me who's who and where they are, which is a great question. It's only fair. And I just want people to know who is running to hope to represent them. So thank you all for running. That's great. We can't do this without people. That's the whole idea of this form of government. If any of you in the public or the press have questions for any of them, here they are. Okay, that puts us at public comment. I have one from Suzanne Fish. What do you have for us tonight, Suzanne? Yeah.
Hello. See my board? I'm here to personally invite all of you here and here to come be part of Race for Grace. Grace is the Greater Richland Area Cancer Elimination, and on Saturday, May 9th, the Race for Grace is happening. It has a new location. It'll be at the high school, and all beginning and ending races will be on the track field. We are combining fundraising with our preventative goals of getting people to be more active and get you all moving to reduce your cancer risk. The events this year are quarter-mile kid run, 1 mile walk run, which includes the firemen and police department and EMS in a friendly competition. There's a 5K walk run and a 3.5 mile trail run that's going to go up behind Simon's. Excuse me. The prices for these runs vary a little bit. The kids run is $15. The 1 mile walk run is $20. 5K and the 3.5 mile trail are each $30. Register by 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, April 23rd to be guaranteed a t-shirt and swag bag with goodies. April 24th, all prices go up $5. Register in person at the Grace office above Royal Bank Tuesday and Thursday between 11 and 3, or go to Walk with Grace, register online, or May 8th, in-person registration at packet pickup at the Richland Center Community Center from 4 to 6:30 p.m., or the same day as the race at the high school concession stand. There's a way for people who do not want to or can't walk or run. The runners and walkers are available to get pledge sheets, so anyone can just pledge a donation to Grace. This is a fundraiser for Grace and not meant to take anything or anyone away from the Walk with Grace, which is Friday, August 14th. Gather your family, friends, neighbors, and be a supportive part of a great event. This makes me sad. To help support those on their cancer journey, cancer research, and cancer education. I am co-chair of Team Recruitment for Grace. And as of tonight, I am making a friendly challenge to all the other team captains to get your team members involved with this. I will soon be contacting all the team captains and getting their commitment to be a team. I know who you are. I will be talking to you. And hopefully I'm going to get you. Hopefully City Council will allow me again to make Grace commercials in the months leading up to the Race for Grace and the Grace Walk. Thank you for allowing me tonight my time. And please get your registration done before April 24th and come be a part of us. Good night and thanks.
Thank you. Well, gosh, it looks like the last thing on the agenda here. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of adjourning tonight's meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.